We have HNTB, RK&K, Aecom, and Jacobs. Well, I'm excited to introduce John Danza. He is the Associate Vice President, and he's going to be my host today to make sure that we have a smooth process for all of the contractors to go through. John has 25 years of experience overseeing design and construction of complex transportation and infrastructure projects. He has provided projects, program, and construction management services for numerous projects in and around the Northeast USA, including bridges, tunnels, transit and rail systems, roadways, and related facilities. John started his career as a structural engineer, supporting the design of highway and railroad bridges, earth retaining systems, transportation facilities, and schools. John later served as the program manager and provided oversight for major transportation assignments, including critical repairs to the Holland and Lincoln tunnels in New York City. During his time with HNTB, John has been involved with and manages designs for complex, multidisciplinary projects in a rail transportation environment of new and renovated major public facilities. John currently serves as a senior program manager at HNTB in Washington, D.C. office and the deputy to the office's program management practice. I want you to listen and hear my friend John. I want to bring him on and say thank you so much for this partnership, John. It has been amazing, and I'm enjoying the ride.
Thank you for those kind words. And look, it's a pleasure to be participating in this event. We can't do much with our small business partners, so we're very happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be introducing our colleagues in the industry, HNTB, RK&K, Aecom, and Jacobs in a moment. And look, we're going to present on things that we've been doing, on projects we've been supporting WMATA on. WMATA is at a point in time where its aging infrastructure is going to need more and more help, more and more support from the consulting community. So we're here to provide that. And it's going to be interesting to hear from the different consultants that we have presenting today, because we're all approaching the program from different perspectives. So there'll be many different ideas on how small businesses can engage us, right? Different ways to get into step into these opportunities with us. So we're looking forward to hearing from the small business community as to how they could best serve us, and us being WMATA. So without further ado, I want to start off by introducing the HNTB team. Joe Fazio is going to start the presentation there. We have some colleagues that we brought over to speak to us about some of the work that we're currently doing in support of both our PMCM IDIQ contracts, our planning contracts, and a little bit with the purple line as well. Okay, Joe?
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you. Really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about what HNTB is doing, the great work that my team is doing, and that we're assisting WMATA with on their program. Next slide, please. So a little bit about HNTB. We're an employee-owned firm. We have approximately 5,000 employees across the U.S. We're primarily focused on U.S. transportation. We also have about 70 offices across the country. We cover the entire gamut as far as from transportation and transportation sector, from planning to design to construction management and program management. Next slide, please. We've been around for over 100 years, and really, you know, the cornerstone to our success has been our philosophy and our principles that we live by every day. You know, our philosophy, the key to our philosophy is that we're stronger together as a team than we are as individuals. We take responsibility for making success happen. We expect more of ourselves in everything we do. And we discover what's really important to our clients and to stakeholders. We collaborate for the benefit of everyone involved, and it's really important to us that we build strong and lasting relationships. And I'll take a moment here to speak on behalf of the firm. What we look for in partnerships is trust, integrity, and honesty, and that's really important to making us successful. Whether it's a major partner, a JV, or it's a sub, regardless, we approach that relationship the same way. So that's really important to us, and it's really what's made us successful and be able to sustain our success throughout the years. Next slide. So our firm is broken up into seven different divisions. We're part of the Mid-Atlantic, or the MAD division, reaching from Pennsylvania down to South Carolina. The MAD division has about 600 employees. And just to cover a little bit about our transit and rail services, as I said earlier, we cover the entire gamut from planning through design of stations, rail yards and facilities, systems, procurement and contract management, or contract administration, program management, construction inspection, and construction management. Next slide, please. This is a sampling of our local transit contracts that we're currently working on. You'll hear a lot more about our WMATA assignments and task orders under the PMCM IDIQ from the team, but also we have a planning IDIQ with WMATA and a long-range planning assignment. And down on the bottom left, you see a graphic related to the Smithsonian Development and feasibility assessment that we're performing there for WMATA. We're also working on the Purple Line, and that's also, as you may be aware, that's connected into the metro system at 4 major stations. I was happy to work on some of the design aspects on the Purple Line, and now as the program manager on the PMCM assignment, just helping WMATA collaborate with NTA on that project as well. So there's a lot of opportunities. You're going to hear a lot more about what we're doing every day with WMATA, and I'm excited to introduce you to the team as well. So next slide, please. I'm very proud to introduce you to this team. First, we have Diana Mendez, our corporate president. She's the president of Infrastructure, Mobility, and Equity. Enrica Buchanan, vice president. She has over 20 years of FTA experience. It's just great to be with Enrica and the rest of the team today. And Angela Jones, one of our principal planners. You're going to hear more about what Angela is doing with not only the planning group, but also she's a big key role in our IDIQ contract with our contract administrative team. John Danza, who you heard from earlier today, he's also the deputy on the PMCM IDIQ contract. Christy Clow, who is a major part of our contract administration effort with WMATA. Christy oversees the invoicing review team, the task leads, and as well as through closeout, the closeout team. So you'll hear from Christy in a moment. And then Mr. Robin Baptiste, who oversees our PMIS, or Program Management Information System. Rob's a key part of our entire team. So I'm really proud to work with everyone here, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from them as you will hear from them earlier in a moment. Next slide, please. So I'm really happy and proud to introduce Diana Mendez, who's going to be speaking next. She's our corporate president of Infrastructure, Mobility, and Equity, and she's going to be talking to you about our D&I commitment. Diana.
Thank you, Joe, and happy Meet the Primes Day, everyone. A pleasure to be here this morning. And if we could go to the next slide, I'd like to share with you that HNTB's commitment to small business is part of a larger firm-wide commitment to inclusion, diversity, and equity. Joe talked to you a little bit about our culture and our philosophy, but foundational to who we are two principles that are particularly relevant when it comes to working with small business. First, respect for others, and second, collaborate for the benefit of everyone. So we've been very thoughtful in our approach at HNTB to make sure that we have not stovepiped or isolated working with small business as part of DBE compliance, but rather we want to celebrate all the advantages that small business bring to the projects that we do. Small businesses are the backbone of our communities, and the people who own them are incredible entrepreneurs who mortgage their houses, create jobs in their communities, and we are so grateful when small businesses think of us and want to partner with us. So our commitment to small businesses is embedded in our philosophy. It's embedded in our commitment to environmental, social, and governance. And it's also fundamental to the work that we do around inclusive infrastructure, because you can't develop inclusive solutions unless you have shared lived experience with the communities that you're serving. And small businesses have that linkage to community that's invaluable in helping us come up with the best possible solutions for our clients. Next slide, please. So advancing equity requires an intentional, focused commitment on our part. And there are really 4 areas of focus, and procurement and working with small businesses and historically underutilized businesses is fundamental to ensuring equitable outcomes in policies, programs, and projects, in community engagements, and in how we're organized and what our teams look like. So that commitment to thinking through barriers in procurement that are barriers to entry to small business, things like access to capital, diversification of business capabilities. Those are things that we care deeply about at HNTB. And we've moved beyond just focusing, within our business and how we conduct our business to be forces in trying to change the playing field and change opportunities for small businesses on a larger scale. Next slide. 2 examples of our efforts, and there's a lot to do to create new opportunities for small businesses, and we realize we can't do it alone. And 2 examples of the efforts that we are undertaking. One is with the American Public Transportation Association, where we were very instrumental working through APTA committees to develop a roadmap for advancing racial equity in transportation. And we are one of the first consulting firms to sign up for that 2-year pilot program. And so in addition to looking at our own workforce, how we partner with and work with small businesses, how we track and measure what we're doing with small business, who we're working with, ensuring diversity of opportunity is a big part of that pilot program. We also are the sole A&E industry sponsor of a new nonprofit called the Equity and Infrastructure Project. And, I love the caption, it's not just what we build, it's who builds it. And the Equity and Infrastructure Project is focused on procurement issues and understanding the challenges that historically underutilized businesses face in the infrastructure space. There are challenges related to insurance. There are challenges related to workforce development and training. There's challenges related to being able to live with some of the contractual terms that have evolved over the years. There are challenges even around certification, right? There's no standardization of certification, and the level of effort that small business has to spend just to get the right to do the work is substantial. And we want to work to streamline that, to make changes in federal policy where necessary, and to help build models and frameworks that make it easier for small businesses to do business so that we can all get the benefits of their insights and their skills and their unique perspectives. So part of the equity and infrastructure project is to take a pledge, because we're all in this together, and no one of us is going to be able to develop the solution. We need the diversity of thought to understand the challenges and the opportunities for change. So I encourage you to go to the website and take the pledge. Next slide. So I want to leave you with a thought of inspiration. I'm a sociologist by training, and Margaret Mead was one of the great anthropologists and social researchers of our time. And never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Okay, everyone, so that's us. We can make a difference, working together to think about making it easier for small businesses to do business, to contribute, to influence outcomes in our projects, to create more equitable communities. The time is now, and we can do it, but we're the people who have to make it happen. So thank you for your willingness to partner with HNTB and to work with us, and together we're going to change the world. So next, I believe we're going to hear from Christy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana. I love the words that you ended with too. And in your comment about it's who builds it, that's going to stick with me too. So good morning, everyone. Next slide, please, Ellie. And one more. I'm going to be talking about some of the work that we do with WMATA and how our current DBE partners play a role in that. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the primary work that we're doing with WMATA, which is where we're focused, as Joe mentioned earlier, on providing procurement support and all the way from scope development through closeout for two major FQ master contracts that support WMATA's capital improvement program. We have the general architecture and engineering services, and we have program management and construction management. And what you see on the screen is an overview of the work that we provide, the support that we provide to WMATA. Again, starting with preparing scopes, we help manage the procurement of that scope. Many of you may have participated in pre-proposal conferences, putting together technical proposals. We follow the Brooks Act, so we do help WMATA evaluate the technical qualifications before we get to looking at price. And we hopefully are able to agree on a fair and reasonable price with the consultant and with WMATA, and then we can help award that work. And then we provide procurement support during performance. If there are any staff changes that arise, we help make sure everyone gets their merit increases paid out every year. But if there are any contract changes as well, conditions change, time changes, and we help make sure that that's documented for the benefit of everyone. We have our invoice review team that helps facilitate prompt payment of all of the invoices for what is now, more than $700 million worth of work that has been awarded. So that's no small effort, and they endeavor to get the money back to you all, whether that's directly, if we have a direct contract relationship with you, or whether that's through the prime firms that you partner with. And we appreciate everyone who helps us get the money by giving us those high quality invoices. And then we get to closeout. Eventually, all projects need to wrap up, even if it's just because we need to transition to a new master contract. And we have a great team who helps go through and make sure we have checked off all of the deliverables received, get final invoices paid, and then help WMATA understand how much money they can now reassign to additional projects and put back on the street with new work advertised. And over on the side, you can see some of our main partners, and I'll talk about that more in a minute too, with Luminor, Kevel, and Sortac. Next slide, please. So this is another one of our task orders. We provide similar contract administration support to WMATA, and I'm going to use this to talk about how we approach our work focused on client value and what kind of value can we bring to the client. So with this particular work, we, similar to what I just said, we prepare procurement packages, we provide scope support and project development, but we also fill gaps in preparing the procurement packages based on perhaps technical documents that the requesting project team has. We may go out and provide some surveying support, whatever we need to make sure the client can get the best possible procurement package out on the street, because then we're setting WMATA up to get the best possible bids, both in terms of technical quality and price. And then we put those all the way through to award. And again, we are very proud of the success we've had with getting every single procurement package awarded. 'Cause if it doesn't get awarded, we can't get the work done. And that's a really important starting place, and then put it back in the hands of all of you all who are going to go out there and perform the work and be the ones who do the building. So how we approach this, we are very focused on meeting the client's needs. And that means, understanding and their overall objectives. What are they trying to get to? Not just what are they asking us for, but what do they need? Why do they need it? So that we can help think through, are the requests we're getting from them the best way to approach this? Are there questions they haven't asked that we want to ask based on our experience or our skill set? And it's really important to be flexible and adaptable. If our goal is to get them a procurement package, then we need to be ready to adapt sometimes based on what we're getting from the program team to see what gaps do we need to fill in. How can we get that best possible procurement package, and what that looks like this week might be different than what it looks like in a month and a year, and just keep shifting it and moving around so that we meet their needs. Focus on that strategic value. Being part of the capital improvement program for a lot of this work, that helps us understand, what is WMATA trying to achieve here. It's not just rehabbing a bus garage. It's not just upgrading a cooling facility, but it's about the service and the reliability that they want to provide for the customers, for the region, both now and going forward, and increasingly taking a look at equity and the environment as well. And finally, but certainly not last, is we prioritize staff who have integrity and who are team players, because we can't get the job done for our client if we aren't all upholding those strong values of wanting to deliver the best possible quality work that we can. And we all need each other to do that. Everybody has a critical role to play, whatever that role is. We're not going to be successful without every single person, and that makes every single person important. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to quickly highlight what are the positions that we're filling right now on these under this master contract, the FQ1833, and those task orders that I was just mentioning. So, and you'll see which ones are highlighted of where right now or in the past we've had staff from our DBE partner firms filling some of those roles. So we have contract administrators, cost estimators, document control specialists, engineers, invoice reviewers, QA/QC, program managers, project control specialists, project managers, schedulers, scope writers, subject matter experts, task leads, technical integrators. So these are the kinds of positions that, especially in this hiring market, we are always on the lookout for excellent talent, whether that's internal to HNTB, but also in particular with our DBE partners. The more partnership we have, the more integrated with each other we are, the better we find the output we can deliver to the client. And we thank everyone who has worked with us, and we look forward to those we'll work with in the future. Next slide. And with that, I get to turn it over to Henrika. Thank you.
Next slide. Thank you, Christy. So subsequent to an FTA procurement system review, we were selected to manage the PMCM contracts and develop procurement processes that complied with all federal requirements. The subsequent procurement audits had no findings of noncompliance, and we've processed over 120 orders totaling more than $500 million through our task order management workflows developed for WMATA, and there have been 0 claims on the HNTB-led procurements. So as a part of this, we do continuously partner with the WMATA team to analyze the lessons learned and work with the subject matter experts to review current practices and identify additional needed business process improvements. Our goal is that WMATA will be prepared for sustained success by ensuring that there are documented processes, there are trained staff, and ultimately an orderly transfer of knowledge. Next slide. In partnership with WMATA and our DBE partners, we have established procurement processes that will support the continued growth of the capital program. And that's critically important with all of the resources in the infrastructure bill. These processes cover the complete procurement lifecycle and include pre-award and post-award activities. So procedures have been developed that align with the initiation of the procurement, the active procurement process from the technical proposal through purchase, the performance of the scope from managing deliverables through financial management, and finally closeout from acceptance through the final audit. Next slide. So over the course of our contract, Christy mentioned earlier that you need to be flexible and adaptable. And over the course of our contract with WMATA, the needs and focus areas have changed. In the first phase, we were focused on compliance, how to address FTA findings, establish consistency, improve the process. And in response, we established the business processes that I previously described, and that the work resulted in no findings in subsequent audits. In our next phase, the focus was accountability. There was need to boost transparency while focusing on increasing the volume of task orders that could be processed and simultaneously reducing the load. Focusing on accountability has resulted in over 200 task orders being processed with no disputes and improved on-time performance and active procurements. And now that procedures are maturing, the next phase will be focused on preparing for the future, driving those efficiencies, accelerating delivery, and continuous improvement. Our hope is that the result will be maximizing opportunities from the IIJA through successful delivery of the right projects and the best outcomes, and you'll find a harmonized hybrid teaming approach to the procurement process at WMATA. So with that, I'm going to turn it to my colleague, Robin Baptiste.
Thank you, Enrica. Next slide, please. One more. So on this program with WMATA, on this IDIQ, we've assisted WMATA with over 150 task orders that's been awarded in just over 3 years. So that's almost $800 million committed funds with 31% average DBE committed, exceeding WMATA's goal of 25% agency-wide, which I'm very proud to say, right? So that's a tremendous amount of coordination work and reliance on process and data as a result, right? The need to leverage more integrated technology so that the program can then, yield the team working more efficiently in an effort to deliver even more quality work on time and under budget, of course, which will lead to Metro having the required vision to be able to plan for the future, like Enrica just said, with the ability to forecast and prioritize projects and funding. Next slide, please. So how do we accomplish this, right? So you've heard Christy talk about the resources that we've used on TSPM 001 and TSPM 003. From the start, we've engaged our DBE partners in developing solutions to meet the requirements of this program, right? So we've taken a look at SharePoint, Microsoft Project, P6, and Power BI to be able to use that data to make smart decisions and to assist WMATA in understanding the life and the health of their program. All these systems, we have actually partnered with DBE firms like you all in order to go ahead and see that to realization. We understand that data is important, but they are very useful when they are integrated and become sophisticated. So again, as Henrika talked about planning for the future, this is where we want to go ahead and take this program with the data and information that we're collecting on a daily basis. Leveraging the data that we currently have and pivoting away from the traditional way that we coordinate and manage data through Excel, PowerPoint, typically in silos, we want to move to a more dynamic and sophisticated approach where data, again, sophisticated data can drive those decisions. As a result, we'll see scheduling opportunities to better forecast and develop KPIs that includes our schedule performance indicators and cost performance indicators, document management opportunities to track and store evidence of that data, ensure that we are being compliant per the FTA and the workflows that we've had established and managed for this program. And then lastly, bringing all of this together is the system admins and the analysts that will build the processes and the algorithms within this PMIS program to take advantage of tools like Power BI, eBuilder, and SharePoint. Can you go to the next slide, please? And what this brings you, again, is that real-time information, right? We understand that the need for real-time information is more important than ever because we want to be able to capitalize on opportunities for funding that's available and be able to get to the ground running with the work that we have in front of us. So we want to continue to build on that success with what we've seen here with WMATA and other programs across the country that we've managed. Coordinating with our DBE partners, we are able to provide real-time metrics like you see above you here that talks about the health of our program. So bringing data together, improving the decision-making process allows programs and owners to focus more on KPIs and forecasting, basically, again, leveraging the opportunities that we have to be able to work and partner with firms like you all. That's why I have for you credit. Thank you. With that, I think this goes over to Angela Jones. Sorry for not passing the ball.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Good morning, everyone. Again, Angela Jones, and I want to talk to you about some of our planning services that we do. Next slide. So as mentioned earlier, we have two key planning contracts with WMATA. The one is the overall planning GPC contract that we provide several services, and then our more recent long-range planning contract. And as you can see, we have been working on these. These are the more recent ones. Again, the GPC contract over 5 years, as well as the long-range planning that we started that one about a year ago, and now we're proceeding into our second and third year. Some of the projects that are important to you all and surely important to WMATA and us on these contracts, many have involved the station studies that we've done with Rosalind, with Twin Brooks, Smithsonian that was heard earlier. We do feasibility assessments for these stations. We provide planning services as well as early engineering services and architectural services on these station studies. The fourth bullet, our Nepa projects, we have provided large Nepa projects and studies for WMATA, not only for corridor analyses, but also for our bus garages. And these are important Bladensburg and Northern bus garages that advance to the engineering stages. We have provided these services. And then our blue, orange, and silver or BOSS corridor project, we have provided alternatives analyses studies for these services. Next slide. So we plan with a purpose, and simply that means that we're planning not only to meet our community needs and make sure these projects are developed with stakeholders in the communities as well as the other governmental agencies, but we also plan with a purpose so our planning projects can advance successfully through the engineering and construction phases. And so we put folks together with very diverse backgrounds, again, from planning to engineering, involving these persons early, and so we can have a successful delivery as we advance through the remaining phases. And the services that we apply this principle to would be our rail and bus studies. I've talked about some of them, our rail studies, including our corridor studies, as well as our station studies and other components of the station, and our bus studies. We're doing BRT, we're doing several bus garages, and various station planning, as well as bus planning services. And then our economic analysis and cost estimating, which is very important. These are tasks that we will apply to some of our larger studies, as well as our financial planning. Our network and corridor operations and capacity studies, again, the BOSS corridor study is very important, where we've applied corridor operations and network analyses to that particular study, as well as technology and systems readiness programs, and again, our NEPA programs that we've talked about earlier. And then some of the land use modeling with travel demand modeling and transit-oriented development projects that we've applied to our station studies as well as our corridor studies. And we've worked with many small businesses to provide some of these services. Public involvement is very important to our planning, as well as through all of our stages of development for our WMATA projects, and then our graphics, which we don't take lightly, in making sure that our communities and stakeholders have a clear understanding of our planning stages and what we're doing in each of our tasks. Next slide. So our small business opportunities, we're working with many of you on our current planning studies, as well as our planning studies that we've done in the past. We provide services or partner with our small businesses on many of the specialty services, pedestrian simulation modeling. That's very important to our planning efforts, and we've partnered with small businesses to provide these services. Sustainability, looking at sustainability and how our projects can be successful as we plan now, and how we can attain benefits in the future. We have provided and have had partnerships with our small businesses on these type of studies. Again, travel demand modeling and trace modeling. These are specialty services that we apply to almost every planning study that we've performed. And so we have reached out and partnered with our small businesses to provide these services. Station architecture is a key service that we have partnered and we provide in supporting our efforts with WMATA, particularly around our stations and also around the surrounding community where our facilities are located. The architectural component has been very important. Fire and life safety, we're surely looking at partners to continue to provide these services and help make our projects successful. And then finally, our evacuation studies and geotechnical services. We have reached out to the small business community and have been given these services that have made our projects and continue to make our projects successful and advance to the engineering and construction phases. Next slide. So why HNTB? I'm turning this over to John and he will continue our presentation.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Angela. So we've heard a lot of opportunities. We've heard about a lot of opportunities that we have out there. 150 projects over the last 3 years. We've heard about the meaningful engagements we've had with our small business community. And what we're seeing is we're going to need more. And so we look forward to hearing from you all. There's, as the infrastructure shows its, like I say, it shows its wrinkles, right? It's coming to the end of its original design life. We're going to need more engagement for the community, consulting community, to help keep the system going. So we believe in our small partner firms. We saw examples of how we've engaged them in our current practice. We also help with small businesses through our own HNTB Partners program. We help WBs, MBs, MBs secure contracting opportunities on large-scale projects with major transportation agencies. It's a structured approach to this learning curriculum, which focuses on planning, project management, sales, marketing, and other key areas of growth that small business would need to operate in that space. So if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to any one of us on this presentation. Joe Fazio and I are contacts here in the local office, and you can reach out to us at any time, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions about any opportunities that we have within HNTB. So with that, I'd like to open it up to questions and answers.
So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to place them in the chat.
I see a question from Ali. Who will be the best contact for geotechnical firm? Ali, you could reach out to either Joe Fazio or myself. Our contact information was provided in the last slide, and this presentation will be made available to everyone. We'll certainly put you in contact with any appropriate project managers or teaming partners that we have set up within our existing opportunities. A question from Chander. Does HNTB subcontract out structural engineering work? And I have, as you heard in my bio, I am a structural engineer. I get to practice structural engineering every once in a while, which I really enjoy. And to answer your question, yes, we do. We partner up quite often with small firms with support of different types of structural engineering assignments, whether it be station condition inspections, station design, bridge designs, what have you. The significant engagement with our small businesses in that arena. So feel free to send your contact information to the Joe myself, and we'll open up a conversation with you around that. Becoming faster, I can monitor. Are you addressing medical safety in your projects?
Hey, John, I'll jump in and kind of take that one. As far as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, our primary focus is transportation. Anything having to do with health and medical, it's not in our typical wheelhouse. We do partner. We have one task order under our OHA assignment where we are partnering and helping WMATA with some of their health and safety needs. But primarily that's just around the procurement of that contract. So, if you need more information, happy to point you in the right direction. Feel free to contact John or myself. But our primary focus is around transportation. And
M&M, what programs do you have in place for small businesses that have not secured a contract yet? Well, again, we look for small businesses with expertise in a lot of different areas. So if you do have essential services that you're looking to provide to WMATA or to any of the other transit agencies or rail agencies locally, we're more than happy to learn more about that. Reach out to us and we'll see where you can plug in. Our goal is to provide our clients with the best value possible. So please feel free to reach out. Would you please share one more time the contact info on the page?
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Ellie, for that.
No, he's supposed to. I'll let him
Do you
know.
have anything in the cybersecurity space, specifically
No.
information security? I'm gonna ask my colleague Robin to speak on that. Rob is our group leader for the project management and program management information team here in the DC area, but Rob also supports other offices on the East Coast with such work. Rob?
So it's really contract dependent. again, like Joe Fazio said, our focus really is primarily transportation. However, we understand in building out these systems is always a cybersecurity requirement, especially now with data management and data protection. So there are smaller opportunities depending on the contract that we're working on and pursuing. However, that's not our focus. We do have internal skill sets to be able to make sure that we are compliant and we're meeting the needs of the particular requirement with whatever owner that we're working with. However, that's a case by case basis.
John, this is Michelle. I want everyone to know we might not get to all of the questions today, but what we will do is we'll send the questions to the prime contractors and they can answer them and we'll put them out along with the slides with their contact information and everything in it. So please know all of the things that you will hear about and see today, we will gather and put into a packet and we will send out to all of our attendees who have registered. So, in making sure we stay in the time frame that we're trying to do for this, I'm going to turn it back over to John and he can introduce our next primes.
Thank you, Michelle. And yes, we look forward to answering those questions and engaging with the small business community. So please feel free to send us as many questions as you wish, and we're more than happy to provide responses. Next up, RK&K, Vance Siamis is going to introduce his team. You've heard all about all these wonderful opportunities that we've been helping WMATA get out the door for the contracting community, and RK&K is going to present to us some of the things they've been involved with, working with their small business partners along. Vance, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I try to share my screen here for the presentation. Give me a second. All right. Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So I'm here to talk to you today about RK&K and our experiences not only with WMATA but in the DC region and how we partner with small businesses and disadvantaged businesses. I'll be the sole presenter today. My name is Vance Siamis. I have been with RK&K for about 20 years. I'm currently the director of CM services in this region, DC, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. However, I do work across the borders. We have very thin borders at RK&K, and I help with outside of that region as well, especially with project controls and with PM, CM services for rail and transit projects. On the construction management inspection side, we handle a little bit of everything, whether it's rail, vertical work, transportation, horizontal work, as well as utilities, water, wastewater. So we run the full gamut of services on the construction management and inspection side. So I'll tell you a little bit about RK&K if you're not familiar with RK&K. We have about 30 offices, mostly in the Mid-Atlantic and along the East Coast, from Philadelphia all the way down to Miami. We also have offices in the South Central U.S., Texas. We just opened an office in Colorado as well. So we do perform a lot of work, mostly on the transportation side and water wastewater side throughout this region. But we have and we'll get into this a little bit, a lot of our work is on the transportation side, a lot of planning, design, and construction management and inspection as well. We are about to hit our 100-year mark. It is a partnership. We have 5 partners that run our entire company, and we have a very flat organization. And we are cut up into regions a little bit where the partners assist. However, again, we cross borders quite a bit. We have approximately 1,350 staff across the firm. And most importantly, here in the DC region, we have a number of offices. Our headquarters is in Baltimore. We have an office in downtown DC at 100 M Street, right near DDOT, and office in Fairfax, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. So within about an hour distance of DC, we have approximately 500 planners engineers, designers, construction management, inspection professionals as well. We've worked in DC for the better part of 40 years, whether it's with WMATA, DC, DOT, DDOT, DC, DPW, DGS, and so forth. So we have quite a mix of opportunities within the DC region, and that also includes Northern Virginia with VDOT or some of the localities, Arlington, Alexandria, as well as on the Maryland side with Maryland State Highway, MDTA, and some of the localities there, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and so forth. So we do have quite a bit of experience with pretty much every agency in the region. Some of our services, again, we are predominantly transportation, including rail, roadways, bridges, and so forth. We do have a very strong environmental group as well. And a third of our business is construction management. So we have well over 500 professionals that provide construction management and inspection across the firm. In the DC region, we have approximately 200 CMI staff working on a number of contracts. We also have a very strong energy and corrosion group, land site development, as well as IT, computer management system, document control, project controls, and so forth, where we assist in not only development of systems, but also maintaining systems throughout. So again, we have a lot of experience. We have well over 25. I think earlier I said 40 with DDOT, but over 25 years with WMATA, DC DGS, DC DPW, and DDOT. Within the last 10, 11 years, we have anywhere from 85 to 100 tasks running with all of those agencies. As you can see here, it's a wide range of types of projects, whether it's park, trails, to bridge reconstruction, station reconstructions, and the support services that come along with that as well. So this just gives you a very broad example of some of our representative projects in DC, whether again with DDOT, DGS, and DPW, a lot of planning work, a lot of design work, and CM work across the board. This is just a snapshot of some of the work that we've done in the region. But the most important part about this slide is that we've partnered with small businesses and disadvantaged businesses with every single one of these projects. And we are very strong proponents of utilizing our DBEs and small business community early and often in all of our projects. We think it's a value add to not only RK&K, but to the community as well. With that said, I'll move on to the WMATA projects, and we're actually teamed with a small disadvantaged business, DeLon Hampton, on our WMATA PMCM contract. We're joint venture partners to provide PMCM services. RK&K also has a GEC design contract with WMATA as well. But I'll just gonna give you a snapshot of some of the projects that we're currently working on and give you an idea of where we partner with small businesses and disadvantaged businesses as well. We have about 24 tasks with WMATA on the PMCM side. 20 of those are active currently, and several more fairly large. And this is one of our large projects, which is the Structural Priorities Program, A&B staff augmentation, where we're assisting in providing program management and construction management staff augmentation to WMATA, anywhere from PMs to project controls folks to inspection staff on these projects. It's the rehab of aerial structures throughout the system, the big bridges in Maryland and Virginia right over 495. So it's a pretty high profile projects, a lot of MOT. It does have a design build and a design bid build component as well, and that's the A and B part of the project. So experience with design build is another positive as well for you. Another one of our projects is the rail car quality inspections. You've probably read about the issues in the paper. We are providing inspection staff for the rail cars, and we have predominantly our DBE firms assisting with that, providing inspectors, quality inspectors, not only for safety concerns and coupling systems for the rail cars, but also inspection of radio antenna installations, which is piggybacking on another task for the radio program as well. And again, on this particular task, we are looking for inspectors to provide rail car inspections as well. Another project, again, spoke about it in the previous slide, is the radio program staff augmentation. In this program, it's been ongoing for quite some time. It probably has a few more years to go. It runs the full gamut of experience that is needed for the program, anything from program management and process engineers, high-level engineers that understand transit, understand radio systems and fiber optic systems, to construction engineers, office engineers, inspectors. Asset management is also included, financial analysts, schedulers. So again, full gamut of type of professionals that are needed for this very important program at WMATA. And the reason why I'm going through some of these different positions is it really is, for any one of these tasks, there is a wide range of opportunities, even though, you know, if you look at something like this, you would assume they're placing fiber optic line. You would need, you know, construction inspector or construction engineer to help manage that work. But you really need professionals in IT, and you need professionals in communications to assist with that as well. You know, do testing of the fiber optic lines and so forth. So there are plenty of opportunities for the work at hand and the upcoming work that's coming down the line. So it just kind of captures a handful of projects that we've recently won or are about to start. And again, just to give you an idea of the type of professionals that are needed for these projects, we provide scheduling support for WMATA on a couple tasks. So a lot of CPM scheduling reviews and management of master schedules throughout. Staff augmentation for TAMO projects, where we are providing business analysts to TAMO for review of their processes and procedures. Technical writers we seem to utilize them quite a bit on our tasks as well. And again, AE services for wayside planning support, that's scheduling services as well. Project controls and controls process support tasks, where we provide technical writers, schedulers, construction engineers, and financial analysts for all of those tasks. So if the opportunities are there, especially with WMATA, there is a lot of work coming down the line that, as you heard from HNTB here a few moments ago, you know, it's important that we make connections with our DBE and small business businesses that are out there that do have those niche services or really specific services that can assist us in succeeding on these tasks and really performing well for WMATA. You know, RK&K has a very strong commitment to these strategic relationships with the DBE and small business community. As I said, we partner with our DBE and small business firms very often. We actually like to joint venture with DBEs and small business firms for opportunities. It's important to us to be able to provide that back to the community, and you know, that's probably going to be the common theme you hear from every firm that's providing these presentations for you today, and others that are coming down the line. Some of the service areas where we are actively looking, always engaging for potential subcontracting or JV instances as well. Of course, in program management, construction management, and inspection, we're always looking for firms that can, help us win that work. Data collection, and that can be anything from traffic engineering all the way to business analysts and IT analysts as well. Landscape architecture, materials testing, public engagement. We actually have a task with WMATA to provide communication support as well. So we are looking for public engagement firms, not only with WMATA, but other projects as well. Energy, subsurface utility engineering designation, electrical engineering, surveying, and then of course rail and urban design and architecture are key areas. The one thing I will leave you with, and again, this is a very broad, try to leave it very broad because you never know what the opportunities are and how we can team successfully with a firm. So certainly feel free to reach out and we can discuss. There's a lot of work coming down the pike, especially with DDOT, especially with WMATA. DGS is always pinging us for work as well. So in the DC region, there's quite a bit happening, and we are actively looking to engage on those opportunities here over the next 1 to 3 years. So with that, try to get us back on track here. Again, here's my contact info. I'll leave this up for everyone to see. But certainly I'm available for questions now.
Good morning, Vance. This is Marlo Johnson. You have one question in the chat. I will read it to you.
Okay.
Hello, my company is a janitorial cleaning company. Will there be opportunities for my company?
Generally on the services, the AE services that we provide, a lot of, I'd say the majority of the opportunities are, stay within our disciplines. However, there are potential opportunities if we have to, let's say, staff or provide a field office or provide office space where we would potentially procure janitorial cleaning services. Those are usually on the larger programs where we would provide that. And they really come, it's, we take those opportunities as they come. So again, if you want to send me your info, we can file your name and information, and we can see when those opportunities are. Currently, we do not have a need for that.
There's another question in the chat. Any per qualifications will be needed to help you as a sub?
So the way that we work, so if again, we're a very flat organization. So if you send me your contact info and your qualifications, I'll send it to the appropriate manager who runs that particular group, especially geographically. So there's nothing, we don't have a pre-approval process or a way to, submit your information and you get vetted. And, we just like to have a conversation, see what opportunities there are, what you have to offer, and then we try to make those connections. We also like to set up regular phone calls just to kind of check in with our disadvantaged small businesses, just to see, if you've heard anything, if we've heard anything, or if there's something down the line that we can connect. So just, again, send me your information and we can forward it as needed.
So there's no more questions in the chat. If anyone has any additional questions, please put it in the chat. Next question is, what are ops for project scheduling MIS services company?
So we have quite a few opportunities for project scheduling for schedulers, not only within WMATA, but there are opportunities outside of WMATA. especially on the larger program management contracts where we have to staff the project offices, we have to staff schedulers, we have to document control and so forth. So there's definitely opportunities for teaming with firms that have that capability.
Next question, are there any opportunities for quality management?
Absolutely. Again, it's probably a little bit of the same answer. A lot of the WMATA tasks require quality management, quality managers to be submitted as well. And certainly folks that have those certifications and that experiences will be, we will take a look at strongly, and if the opportunity fits and with the resumes, we would absolutely engage for those opportunities.
There's another question. Is there any incentives to bring new SBE, DBE firms into your team, for instance, like the city of Baltimore does?
Correct. City of Baltimore is well known for wanting to bring new DBEs and SBEs, and DC very similarly as well. So yes, there are opportunities. We think that's an advantage, and we certainly.
Oh, I think Vance has frozen up on us.
Somehow
No, I'm not sure.
everything went to my camera and my mic turned off. I apologize for some reason. My role was changed, it looks like, to attendee. I guess my time's up. I don't know.
No,
And I don't know if you heard everything on that last question, but yes, certainly there's a good story to tell with bringing on new DBEs and small businesses to agencies. So we like to do that very often, if not every single time we go after something.
Next question, we supply PPE, safety vests, hard hats, etc. Are there opportunities for us to work with RK&K?
Absolutely. Send me your info. We buy quite a bit of it. So if there's good, if it works out and saves us a couple dollars, of course.
Do you have any need for site safety management and environmental consulting based in New York?
We do not have work in New York. However, if you are working outside of New York, New Jersey South, we certainly do have that need.
Next question, we are a DBE electrical engineering firm. Do you pursue opportunities involving design? Lost the question. Hold on. Involving design, replacement of traction power substations.
Yes, that's the quick answer. We do. So please feel free to reach out.
Next question. Are there opportunities for artificial intelligence based on drone inspections, image processing, computer vision, robotic process automation?
Yeah, we have an innovative group in RK&K that's what they specialize in. So certainly I can connect you with them to see where the opportunities could come. And, we're always looking ahead and seeing what the next best thing is. So we certainly would want to be in the forefront of that. So we would love to kind of chat about that as well.
Next question. I'm looking for opportunities in traffic engineering, traffic control. Who can we reach out to?
So reach out to me and I'll get you to the right place. Scott Crumley, who runs our DC office, is our traffic engineering guru in this region. So I would likely, send you over to him, but you've got my contact info. You can send it right to me.
The next question, are there opportunities for transportation freight brokers?
That one I have not seen too much, but if you can send me qualifications, I can see. It's always nice to see opportunities outside our normal wheelhouse to see if that fits in with an opportunity that we may have.
Can you please put your slide back that has your contact information, Vance?
So I don't have that ability right now to share, but I think the presentation will go out. So
Yes, it's
it
not a
is in there.
problem. We are sending the information out, so we're not gonna keep putting the information back up, but we'll make sure that they're all sent out in the packets.
Okay, Vance, there's no more questions in
Okay.
the chat. I'm going to turn it back over to John. Thank you, Vance.
All right, thank you all.
And that was a wonderful presentation. So exciting to hear about what you're doing within the area, your engagement with not just the WMATA, but obviously partners, support of the WMATA initiative. Thank you. Thank you for that presentation, Vance. Next up, we'll have Sean Russo with HNTB. I'm sorry, I apologize. Sean Russo with Aecom present to us some opportunities that they have from their end. And Sean, if you're ready, take it away. Sean.
Good morning, everyone. John, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to share my screen here. Give me half a second. All right. So again, welcome everyone. Hopefully you can see the screen here from Aecom. We're definitely very pleased to be with you again this morning. So we'll just pretty much jump right in. I'm going to may have slight technical difficulties here. Give me half a second to sorry about that.
You're aware, Sean, we can see your slides, and you're on the agenda slide now.
Just trying to figure out the button to go from one slide to the next, and again, I apologize for that. Okay, sorry there. All right, so here we go. Thank you, and thanks for your patience for bearing with me here as we go live and trying to look at two monitors and all that good stuff. So again, Aecom's very pleased to be with everyone this morning. We're going to go through a quick introduction, who's here from our team, how to engage with us to do work going forward, the types of work we're currently doing with WMATA and within the region, similar to what you've heard from some of our peers so far this morning. You're going to hear from our small business program manager. Again, what we're looking for small businesses, DBE firms, et cetera, and how to do business with Aecom. We'll share a few upcoming opportunities, and then we'll go into Q&A. So joining me today is Sean Ralston, our small business program manager. His contact information will also be available at the end. So if there are questions, feel free to contact Sean. Joining us also this morning is Tom Kirby. Tom heads up our transit practice out of Maryland and is currently leading our GEC on-call contract. So quick overview of what we're doing. So Aecom, we're really focused on delivering a better world. Everything we do, our team is focused on what can we do within our communities to make improvements. How do we do this? Right now, Aecom is structured as 5 real service areas. Everything from the vertical environment, what we call buildings and places, to environment, program management, and we do a fair amount of work in this region, whether it's with DC schools, DGS, federal government, transportation, and that's the practice that I help manage here in the DC area, and our water business line. A lot of that here locally is with DC Water, and everyone's familiar with the work going on with them. Quickly going through some more facts and figures about Aecom, and a couple of them that really resonate with me is the fact that we do work on all 7 continents. And being a large firm, this gives us the agility to share information, what's happening in Asia, what are our peers in New Zealand and Australia doing in the transit space that we could apply here, whether it's with WMATA, MTA, LA Metro, et cetera. So having those connections is vitally important. A couple other things that really resonate with us as a company are the two that we're one of the Fortune's World's Most Admired Companies, and one of the world's most ethical companies. Our CEO, Troy Rudd, he's always talking about the importance of these attributes and how what we do as employees at Aecom and how we engage with the community really drives these factors to make us an admired company, a company people want to work with. Going forward, I know Vance and some of my peers spoke earlier about the importance of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Given the size of Aecom, we are local everywhere. Even though we're on 7 continents, we're in DC, we're in Virginia, we're in Maryland, New York, every state, we're there. We're there as employees, we're there as residents. We use the facilities in the area, whether it's recreation, surface transportation, transit. So it's important that we have people that have different ways of thinking, and that gets to the equity and diversity. And we think the same way when it comes to assembling our teams. Looking for small businesses that are local, that know the nuances of a community, maybe deeper than we do, that they live there, they breathe it. How can we pull in these subject matter expertises that's really going to enrich the offering we have with our clients and ultimately the community? Moving forward a little bit more is, building off of the equity, diversity, inclusion is our commitment to ESG, environment, social, and governance. Here locally and across in the U.S., business travel, we see the price of gas rising. A lot of talk, continuing dialogue on climate change and what's going on in that space. So Aecom has taken a proactive stance. We're limiting our business travel, reduce that carbon footprint. Going back to some of the other aspects, partnering with those subject matter expertise. We realize that we can't do it all. We have to have these strategic partnerships with small firms like everyone that's here today. This creates a little more resiliency in what we could do, improves our offering to our clients, and just gives more diversity in thought. Sort of like that design philosophy. If you go in designing with one fixed use, you're going to miss out on so many other opportunities. When we're able to partner with everyone, you get different mindsets. You're seeing things from different perspectives and optics that really improve the overall product. And another thing Aecom is committed to is increasing women in our senior leadership. Right now we're at 20% going towards 35%. So it's fantastic to see this commitment from Aecom's leadership. Keeping it on a more local aspect now, our partnership with WMATA. So Aecom and through our legacy companies been working with Metro for several decades at this point. In a second, I'll get through the different contract vehicles, but looking at the expanse of work, that spectrum that we do from engineering, whether it's structural, civil, roadway, traffic engineering for the different facilities or stations, down to on the more cutting edge side with electrification, supporting WMATA and their advancement to go into zero emission vehicles. And that also speaks to the ESG commitment that Aecom has that I just spoke about. Other service areas that we're quite tied to is planning. Historically, Aecom's probably known more as a transit planning firm. That's how we really cut our chops with WMATA, doing everything from transit-oriented design to station planning work, doing a different environmental EIS projects, whether it's at the HRO or Potomac Yard work. And then even more so, probably one of the largest portions of our portfolio is with the systems and radio and fiber work. You've seen some slides earlier, whether it's that radio program, that fiber installation, and we're just so pleased to be in there. I was going to say in the trenches, but in this case, in the tunnel, with the staff, taking Metro to that next generation, how to improve the safety and the communication reliability of the system. We also support what you can see on the screen, whether it's architecture, facilities or stations, environmental work, economics. We actually partnered with WMATA through one of our planning contracts to support their grant manual and how to tap into those funding sources that are out there. And then even currently we have a project with closed circuit television and security, looking at those facilities and how to make sure they remain secure. Jumping forward, these are the active contracts we have with WMATA. The on-call planning services, we've got 4 of the 6 categories to support WMATA. For the GEC category, we're in the rail yards and infrastructure category. For PMCM, we're in a partnership, a joint venture actually with STV. So for that one, we go by Aecom STV joint venture. Have several tasks, and we'll see those in a moment. And then a legacy planning contract, FQ 15190, where we're doing some of the more traditional planning. Building off of what we've talked about so far is we have an extremely strong commitment to working with the DBE partners. On the screen here is just a few examples where that partnership is far exceeding the goal that was put forth in those particular RFPs. We're not, checking the box. That may sound kind of trite, but it's true that we want that expertise that's going to drive success on the projects and ultimately improve WMATA's performance, safety, reliability, because we want to be that true partner. A few additional facts and figures at the bottom of the slides here. Right now, we've got about 24 active subs on our contracts. Our roster and bench is much deeper. Depending on what's going to be required at that time or as projects end, and we go on to a different task orders with WMATA. All that said, we're always looking for those firms. As we go through the presentation, we'll go into a little bit more detail on that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean Ralston, and who's our Small Business Program Manager, to go into more detail. Sean?
Great. Thank you, Sean. So I'm going to go into a little bit more depth about how to best engage Aecom, what we look for in small and diverse partners. So we can go to the next slide. Yep, thank you. So this is just some quick statistics on our small business utilization. This is across our entire program. You can see the percentages there. We do well with some socioeconomic categories, extremely well, and in some we struggle a bit. And I think it varies year to year, contract to contract, but certainly we find certain socioeconomic categories more difficult to meet than others. I think that's across industry, and even our clients experience that. So the one key takeaway that I would point you to here is that we're always looking for new partners, right? That will add value to our team. We've been in business obviously for many years, large company, many different contracts, have a lot of existing partnerships, but that doesn't mean that we stop looking, right? We're always looking to bring new partners on to strengthen our teams, to bring in that sometimes the local knowledge of the client, knowledge of the subject matter expert. It's a continuous process to bring in new partners. So next slide, please. So I'm not going to go into all of these. I think they provide a really good example of some of the services that we subcontract. But to the bigger question about what we subcontract, the short answer is it depends. And many of the speakers have mentioned this before, but every contract's unique. The requirements of the contract, what we have available as far as our staff, that varies, especially from geography to geography. We also look at what small and diverse partners are in the community. It's very common for us to, if we have that standout all-star partner, they're on our team first, right? We're looking to put together the strongest team. And yes, we have many people available, but if you bring something that they don't have, we want you on the team. So I think a lot of people lose sight of that. Oh, you do what we do, then you don't need what we need. That's not the case, right? So if you do it well, if you're going to add value to the team, we want you. Another thing that we obviously take into consideration are the client requirements around goals, right? We have a lot of contracts where we have no goals, and we have strong small business and diverse business participation on those contracts because it's the right thing for the contract. But obviously, if there are goals that the clients are saying, this is a priority for us, we're going to make sure that we meet or exceed those goals. So certainly it's an aspect of what we look at as far as the goals, but The driving force is, the work and how well you do the work and what kind of value you add to the team. Next slide, please. Great. So what does Aecom look for? So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on these slides just because I do think that they're fairly important in approaching a large business. Aecom or really anyone else. I think these best practices can be kind of taken to heart across your portfolio. So the first, niche capabilities, right? So again, we're a large business. We can do a lot of things. You're a small business, right? You can't do everything a large business can do. I talk with small businesses, diverse businesses that say we can do anything you need, right? Well, I don't think you can, right? But you can do some things really well. So I think focusing on that and bringing that to light and explaining to how that fits into what we're trying to do for our clients is your best ticket to landing work with a large business. Good reputation. So you win some work with Aecom, do a good job, right? Because that is going to be your past performance with us. It may be a small job, but it's an important job. It's your first job, and that comes with any client. Do a good job, even if it's a small job, because that's going to follow you. Certifications, obviously, if you don't have them, you can't do the work, right? And we do have a process of where we pre-qualify firms. Our system is called Subport. It's not necessary before contacting us to be in Subport, but if we're getting ready to issue a subcontract, it's best if you're in there, right? Because it's just going to make it quicker. It's going to, kind of check all of the boxes as far as, the certifications, the insurance, all of those things. But you obviously need to make sure that you're ready to do business with us. Geographic proximity, right? The closer you are, the better, right? We're looking for partners in the community, right? So, that should be your first focus with us is, the clients in your community and what you've done in the community. Safety record goes without saying, right? If you're not a safe business, we're not going to work with you. We need safe subs. We pride ourselves on safety as a large business, and we expect our subs to do the same. Financial stability, obviously, we want you to be in business for the entire length of the performance and beyond, right? So we don't want you to come to us and say you've had to let people go, and we want continuous performance for our clients. So you need to be financially stable. Past performance, I talked about this before. Focus on what you've done, what clients you've supported. That's where you're going to be strongest. That's where you want to approach us with your interest. The socioeconomic status, I see firms lead with that all the time. I don't think that's the way to go, right? I think obviously they come into play, but it's really about your capabilities. It's about your past performance. It's how you can help us help the client that is most important. Yes, those things do factor in, and we do obviously track those because we have reports that we have to do, but really you shouldn't be leading with this, right? It should be certainly on your capability statement and communicated when talking with us, but it's really about your capabilities. And then obviously, your trust relationships, you need to build on those and keep those strong. So next slide, please. Great. So as far as approaching a large business, the first thing I always recommend is to study our website. We have a pretty large communications group. We put a lot of information out on our website about contracts that we've won. Large businesses, they love to kind of tout their successes. So use that to your advantage. Use that as a research tool. Take a look to see what contracts they've recently won or, what partnerships they have. There's a ton of information out there, even events that we're attending. If you're trying to get in touch with, someone that's technical, research the firm. There's a lot of different databases out there that list, contracts held, dollars awarded. Use that to your advantage to learn about that large business. It's going to give you a better position to pitch your support to them if you understand how they work. Now, you obviously don't need to understand every different business line. That's really where I come in, right? So I'm the small business program manager, the SBLO. if you know the technical side, if you know how you're going to fit into it, let me figure out the organization for you, right? Every large business will have people like myself that our role is to help you navigate our large organization, right? So you don't have to spend hours trying to track down people. But again, you need to understand what you do and what you want to do for us to help me do my job, right? Attending events like this, excellent way to learn about large businesses, about clients and what they have to offer. We're always trying to put information out there, and we attend probably 35, 40 different events across the country, certainly a lot here locally. So speak with us, speak with the client small business and diverse business staff, right? They have my counterpart over there to help you do business. And whether that's as a prime or as a sub, they're there to help you. So take advantage of that. I always say, ask about specific contracts. I love to hear about capabilities and what you've done, but really you're in the business of doing business, right? So you want to land work. So give me specifics. Say, hey, I saw you were just awarded this contract. We do similar work. Who do I talk to learn about opportunities? Help me help you navigate us and get to the right people. And certainly, the business development folks, once you're there, they're going to want to know the technical side, right? I need to understand in general terms where you want to plug in. But once you get to those technical people, they're going to want to know about past performance. They're going to know those details that you should have on hand ready. And again, focus on your strengths, right? You're a small business. You do some things extremely well. Those are the things you should be focused on. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Great. So this last slide is just some basic contact information. I mentioned the Subport system before. Reach out to me first before you go to Subport. It may be something that I help you get into once we've had a conversation, but I don't want to put you through all of the hoops that come with registering unless there's some real opportunities, right? I don't want to waste your time. So talk to me first. My information's there. I'm also going to put it into the chat just in case you all want it. And again, these slides are coming out. Also, my information is available on our public small business supplier diversity website, right? So you can go to that site, Aecom SB or Aecom Supplier Diversity. It's right there on that site. I pick up the phone, right? That's my job, is to be available, to be accessible, and to know our organization. So if there are questions about, who do I talk to, or do you have work with this client, or, what opportunities might be coming up, give me a call. There's also some links there around our outreach calendar. Again, if you want to see people in person or virtual, I think the events are sort of coming back to being more in person, but certainly still a lot of virtual. I don't think we're going back from this. I think it offers a lot of advantages, the virtual nature, allowing you to be more efficient. But some of them are in person. So take a look there. Again, you can always call me and say, hey, are you going to be at this event or that event? And I can find that information out for you. So again, I'm here to help you. We do a lot. We're always looking for new partners. So I really appreciate you having us today and giving us the opportunity to connect. And again, I'll drop my contact information into the chat, and I'll be available for questions afterwards. So back to you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Sort of picking up where Sean left off, here's a few opportunities that Aecom is keeping track of that we would love to hear from everyone that's on the call today. The first one is an active task order we have under the PMCM contract, and this one will go on for over the next year. And there's always the need for additional construction managers, construction engineers, office engineers. So again, reach out. The potential is there. The real estate on-call services. This is a newer contract coming through WMATA for station planning and strategic advisory services. So a little more on that planning side of the house. But again, if you have expertise, as Sean was saying, and talent in these areas, by all means, connect with us. PMCM recompete within the local industry. Everyone is tracking this. We know it's coming. Speaking with WMATA Procurement, it's currently going through the machinations right now, and now's the time to reach out. If you're doing similar work, whether for WMATA or other transit agencies that would be directly applicable, perhaps you have a relationship with Aecom and another office that we're not even aware of, by all means, connect with us and let's build off of that relationship. CBTC, another major program that WMATA is focused on, over $4 billion over the next 10 to 15 years. Aecom is interested in this work, leveraging what we do with systems and communications, taking advantage of our national practice, but we're also looking for these other niche expertises that you all hopefully can offer. Switching out of WMATA, DDOT, the A&E contract, Aecom currently holds all the release categories. So if you're doing anything with roadway drainage, public outreach, traffic, geotech survey, every task order is different. We subcontract at the task order level. So please contact me if you see anything posted on the DDOT website. My information is there. We'd love to hear from you and see where that fit may be. Federal Highway is another major client of ours. Two contracts that could be applicable here is our on-call highway bridge with Eastern Federal Lands. That's pretty much doing work across the country, a little more focused east of the Mississippi. Again, roadways, bridge, drainage, up and down the East Coast. So if you're a firm that does have offices outside of the DC Metro, whether it's Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, let us know. There's always that opportunity to get boots on the ground that know the geography, that understand the community where that project is. We found that to be very successful with this client. Same with transportation planning. Everything from GIS, the complete streets, modeling, corridor planning is covered under this contract vehicle. And then two from Maryland for the MTA on-call planning services. If there's questions, Tom could help answer those. And then with State Highway, on-call services, and this will be drainage, roadway, traffic, all the above. So Aecom, we're in these markets looking to hear from you. And with that, we'll go into questions and answers.
There's no questions in the chat. If anyone has any questions, please put your questions in the chat. There's a question in the chat for you. Are there opportunities for enterprise asset management, reliability center maintenance, analytical and IoT sensitive based asset monitoring?
Yeah, I'll start off with that one. Yes, asset management is an area that Aecom is focused on, especially as things get more into the AI and digital front. As Sean said, connect with him for the corporate level, or feel free to reach out to me related to a technical topic for this.
There's another question in the chat. Is the best next step simply to reach out to you by email?
Sort of splitting with Sean here. So yeah, feel free to connect with Sean if you want to get into our database, understand what we do across the different business lines. He's the person to reach out to. Maybe if it's something more technical or task specific, say to Metro, by all means, feel free to drop me an email.
Yeah, I agree. It come to me first. Let me give you sort of the overview, the overview of how Aecom's set up and get you to the right person.
There's several questions in the chat. Do you want me to read them or you want to take over?
Yeah, I could read them, trying to look out of the corner of my eye at my other screen here. So for environmental services, yes. Even though Aecom has an environmental business line, we talked about that earlier, we are interested. We do have major offices in New York and New Jersey. That's where I started my career a long time ago. So again, connect with Sean and reach out. Same for staff augmentation, construction management, MEP. Yes, we know that these categories are the real focus of the PMCM category or the contract. As different task orders come out, please send us your information. Let us know, again, where you've done that work, the relationships you have, the talent pool, really how to support us in these specific areas.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll add to that, so I support all of our business lines. Sean mentioned earlier in the presentation our different business lines. I connect with them all, right? I'm talking to our program managers on our contracts. So again, I am your tour guide to Aecom. I'm the one to get you to the right people.
Yeah, well said, Sean. I like that tour guide. And then I see another question related to DC Water. Yeah, start with Sean. Our DC Water leadership is based here in Arlington and DC. So we'll definitely be able to help you out there.
We have time for a few more questions. Please put them in the chat.
And I guess as we wait, if there's any more questions, just sort of add on to what we spoke about here. Yeah, Aecom is a large company. There's no hiding that fact, but we do take pride in the fact that we get into the details, that we know the neighborhoods, and we want everyone's help here today to really get into that, delivering the projects that make a difference. Kind of the image that's on the background here, it's actually 2 blocks from my house on 14th Street, more uptown DC. And just to be able to have these projects that are literally in your backyard, and to have that, we're not showing projects that are in Bangkok or England right now. This is a local client, but we know we could pull in those resources. So again, reach out to Sean, your tour guide, and stay in touch with us. We do what we can to get back to you as soon as possible. So again, looking forward to hearing from everyone.
We have one last question that we will ask you to pose, and then we'll hand it back over to John. It says, any possibilities for a mentor-mentee for 8A company?
Yeah, and I'm happy to take that one, Sean. So I would say yes, we certainly engage in mentor programs. Usually they're client-sponsored programs. So we have some information on our website about what we look for in potential mentees or proteges. So you can take a look at that, but we certainly do participate in the programs. We value those programs. It's a great way to develop our key subcontractors. So certainly participate, but it has to align, right? The relationships have to align. There has to be an opportunity for a program. But yeah, follow up with me. I'm happy to explain more about it. But again, we have information on our website as well that goes into some of the things that we look for.
Well, very good. That was a great presentation. Thank you. I'm looking at the numbers for June, and I see that that Aecom leads out of all the primes in DBE participation. So kudos to Aecom for doing that, setting the bar for the rest of us. So we appreciate that. I'm seeing a 46% on the PMCM contract, leading everyone else. So thank you. So yes, you know, talking the talk and walking the walk. And
I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. So Tom, Donahue, if you're with us, I saw you log in a few minutes ago. So we're going to be hearing from our friends over at Jacobs on the opportunities they have for DB SB firms, our WMATA programs and other local opportunities. So see, my screen froze. I'm worried that I'm frozen. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, John.
Yes,
Oh,
okay. You're good. You're not frozen for us.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. So we're going to be queuing up Tom in a moment, but Jacobs is another large large prime that's been servicing WMATA in its PMCM GAC arena over the several years now. And if we are ready to go with Jacobs, their slides on. Tom, are you there?
I believe that he's still joining the call. I will ping him and just let him know that you are ready to go.
Okay, thank you. There he is. He's muted.
Yeah, I see Tom. I do see him on mute. Can he unmute?
I believe that they are stating that they are muted and unable to unmute and unable to
I'm here.
share their camera.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I'm here now. Do you see me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, welcome, Tom.
Presentation up.
As Tom pulls up his presentation, again, another strong performer in the DBE category. Jacobs is not just checking off the box with DBE participation, but have exceeded the requirements. So strong engagement with the small business community. And again, thank you for all you do. So Tom, take it away.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us here today. I'm joined by, well, first, I'm Tom Donahue. I've been working with the Maryland Department of Transportation and Washington Metro for probably 30 years now. I moved to this region to work with MDOT and then joined WMATA back in the 90s and moved into consulting in 2000, where I've been ever since. I'm joined on the call by Kristen Rodgers. Kristen is our client account partner for both Washington Metro and for Virginia DOT. So she's a good point of contact for both DC and Virginia. Also joined by Kyra, and Kyra leads our US North, which is a very big region extending from Virginia all the way up through New England, out to Illinois, and includes all of Canada. And she's our equity, diversity, and inclusion lead for that entire region. And also Bryce. Bryce recently joined us just last week, so he's a recent graduate. And he's working with Metro already on the bike and ped program in the real estate office. So wanted to have Bryce give him some exposure to the Jacobs and what's going on at Metro. So again, thanks for having us. You want me to start with the go through the presentation? Okay. So probably if you've been on the call this morning, you've probably heard these sort of the same agenda. Provide a corporate overview, discuss our transportation and our rail and transit practice, specifically talk about transit in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia region, and then a couple of slides on doing business with Jacobs. And then because we'd had a similar event not too long ago, our own internal small business event, I had some slides from that presentation on our water business and our built environment business. And those are really the three pillars of our state and local business in the US: transportation, water, and built environment. So there's some information for the participants there. I think this presentation will be sent around after the meeting. So I'll start with the corporate overview. So Jacobs is a large company. It has done a number of acquisitions over the years. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of some of the predecessor companies. Jacobs originally started in the oil and gas business, and then over time, it's built up a water business, in particular with the acquisition of CH2M Hill, and also a very strong transportation business, Sverdrup, Edwards and Kelsey, Carter Burgess, Halcro, Booz Allen, state and local business. Also has strong architecture capability. Kling Stubbins up in Philadelphia was one of their acquisitions. And recently started moving more into or adding things like cybersecurity. So we acquired a firm called KeyW up in the Fort Meade area, and they primarily support the U.S. federal government. And recently we acquired a company some of you might be familiar with called Streetlight that does some interesting data mining and travel analysis in the transportation market here in the U.S. We do have offices worldwide. It's primarily concentrated in the US and Canada, which we call North America, Europe, with a primary footprint in the UK, but building work in some of the other European countries as well. A Middle East practice that's very strong, primarily focused on the Arabian Peninsula. And then a South Asia focused, and Australia, New Zealand. And you can see some of the numbers there. So it's about 55,000 people, fairly large company. A few more numbers. We are a very strong design firm. We're currently #1 in rail and transit, and you can see some of those other numbers. And this will all be in the handout that goes to you. We do provide a wide array of services. So I mentioned the transportation business, the built environment business, and the water business. We also have a strong environmental practice. We do a lot of work in the nuclear area, primarily cleanups of things like Hanford. A stronger presence in the intelligence market now with a number of cybersecurity wins. I think our largest client on the federal side is NASA, where we have, I think we're NASA's largest contractor, a lot of construction management and program management work with NASA. And then a heavy emphasis on resilience and sustainability. Our transit and rail practice, I mentioned we're the #1 rail and transit engineering firm in the world based on ENR, and that's really because of some of those acquisitions that have been made over time. We're also very strong in bridges and highways, and not listed here is tunnels, where I think we're also the #1 design firm. And this intermodalism really creates some good synergies for us. Our ports group has pulled us into ports work. On the airport side, we've been pulled into rail lines for airports as well, and we use some of their capabilities in our transit market as well. It's a fairly no walls organization, and we move across the different clients and capabilities quite often. And this just provides a little bit more of a description, a lot of bridge design work, advanced mobility. I mentioned the tunneling group. We recently won a tunnel project here in Alexandria, and recently finished up the Crossrail project, which is now the Elizabeth line in the UK. In terms of our offices in the Mid-Atlantic, they're in most of the places you would suspect, everything from Virginia Beach all the way up to Pittsburgh. I think our largest office in this region is Arlington, where we have a fairly significant presence. And then on the right side there are the clients that we work with in the transportation market, state and local, in the DMV region. Probably quite a few that some of the companies on this call also support. We do provide a broad set of capabilities. I would have to say where Jacobs is strongest is in design, construction management, and program management. Those are in the transit and rail market, that's what we're really focused on. But in addition, we do a lot of systems engineering work. We've been leading the signaling work for PATH up in New York for a number of years. We've also worked with New York City Transit on its advanced signaling program, and Baltimore as well. Tunneling, I mentioned. Vehicle engineering is also one of our strengths, coming from the Booz Allen state and local business. So we're working with most of the major transit agencies in North America on various vehicle procurements, especially now with the transition to zero emission vehicles, which is driving a lot of renewed interest in vehicle engineering and procurement. We support a broad range of clients. So I mentioned state and local agencies. We work with probably the top 30 in North America. That's really our focus. But also US DOT, Amtrak, VIA up in Canada, and Brightline. State and local DOTs. We do a fair amount of work on the design build side with contractors like Kiewit and others. And we also work in the freight railroad industry with most of the, with all the Class 1 railroads in North America. Some project examples, things we're currently working on or recently completed in North America. We are the designers for the Cotton Belt. That's a new rail extension from DFW up to the Northwest in the Dallas area. Also in the Dallas area, we were the program managers for the Fort Worth T for TexRail, and we're looking forward to an extension of that system soon. We're working with CTA on the Red Line, Purple Line modernization as the PMCM. We were the program managers for Denver Fast Tracks, designer for the Portal Bridge up in New Jersey, and then you can see some of the other things. We also have a fairly strong fare collection practice. And we're supporting the Clipper program. We've supported Portland and Seattle on their programs, Baltimore, Washington, and recently completed the New York Omni program as well. And then I think our largest client in North America right now is Metrolinx up in Toronto, where they're spending a significant amount of money on new rail lines and conversion of the commuter rail to an electric line. So in this region, our key clients, it's the Maryland DOT, Maryland Transit Administration, DC DOT, where we're the program managers for the streetcar program, WMATA, which we'll talk about a little bit more, MWA, where we've been the program managers for Silver Line phases 1 and 2, VDOT I mentioned, Amtrak, and US DOT. So what are some of the projects we're working on in this region? For WMATA, we've been the program manager for the office consolidation project. That is 3 new headquarters buildings, one at New Carrollton, one in Alexandria, and one at L'Enfant Plaza. We're also the program managers for a new heavy rail maintenance facility out in Landover, and a variety of other tasks, flood mitigation. We were the design lead for the design build team led by Kiewit for all phases of the Metro Rail Station platform reconstruction program. I mentioned the Silver Line, which is coming to an end soon. The DC DOT, a number of contracts with Maryland MTA. These are generally on-call contracts, 5-year contracts with a variety of task orders and a lot of flexibility. And then at Amtrak, we've been leading the ADA stations program for a long time, working with Aecom in a joint venture. We also do rolling stock work with them and a lot of facilities work. Amtrak in particular has a lot of significant opportunities coming up, everything from the new Frederick Douglass tunnels, Union Station reconstruction here in DC, the Susquehanna Bridge in Maryland, the Gateway program, probably most people are familiar with, and just a whole lot of state of good repair work up and down the Northeast corridor. So doing business with Jacobs. We do have an emphasis on inclusion and diversity. It's important to our company. Our CEO very much embraces our emphasis on diversity and inclusion, especially at his C-suite level and throughout the company. Some of our strategic pillars, building culture within our organization. We have a number of different groups that are sponsored by executives at our organization and support different diverse groups within Jacobs. Developing our talent, we do have a focus on building a diverse talent pool, especially focused on college recruitment. Leadership, commitment, and accountability. I mentioned this, the chief executive. They have diversity and inclusion built into their annual evaluation programs. And then growing our business. You know, we do have an emphasis on working with small businesses, disadvantaged businesses, minority businesses, and women-owned businesses throughout all of our practices. And you'll see some of those numbers coming up where we really, I think, provide, you know, good support, and it's a good partnership. So some of the, you know, the programs where we really have a strong commitment, Philadelphia Airport, our CEO at the time made a commitment to a 50% plus small business, diverse business for the program management job there. MARTA program management, we're actually in a joint venture with a DBE firm, plus all of the other support we get from other firms for that program. Hartsfield Jackson, the same in Atlanta. Again, it's a strong joint, I think it's a joint venture or a subcontract there with a strong, very strong disadvantaged business. Eastside Access, you know, it's a huge program. I think the goal was 15%, and we're currently at 20% on Eastside Access. And then here at WMATA is another place where we have a strong commitment to diversity in our subcontractors. At the heavy rail maintenance facility that I mentioned, we're at 27% right now. And then on the bus vehicle GEC, we're at about 34%. In terms of our commitment that I mentioned, I pulled this from the presentation I mentioned we did internally for a small business event. But in 2021, we spent about $690 million on small and diverse businesses. And it's really engaging with suppliers. It's developing suppliers. We do have potential Protege programs and other programs to support small businesses and diverse businesses. And then maintaining a good list of small and diverse businesses as well. And I'll get to that in a second. I wanted to provide you with some of our Mid-Atlantic leadership. I mentioned Kyra Mosley at the beginning of the call. Toyin is now based in Philadelphia and leads our entire U.S. social, economic, and inclusion program. And then Scott Weichert is our operations lead for the Mid-Atlantic. Freddie Fuller leads our business development in the Mid-Atlantic across water and transportation. Stan Nimzak is the Philadelphia operations leader, and Rich Voigt is the DMV operations leader. Their email addresses, if you wanted to reach out to them, it's just first name, period, last name @jacobs.com. I'm sure they'd be happy to hear from any of you. Let's see. So if after this program is done, there's an interest in reaching out for further discussions, feel free to contact me, Thomas Donahue, or Kristen Rodgers. You can also check in with Kyra as well. And then there's a link to our registration program. It is important if your company is interested in doing business to start that process. It can take, you know, a few weeks or a month as they do their usual due diligence on companies. That applies to small businesses, diverse businesses, and non-DBE firms as well. So we encourage you to register on that site. And I think that's all I had. Like I said, you'll get these other slides on our water and our business, built environment business. I won't go through those right now. So I'm prepared. Any questions you have for our team, we'd be happy to answer them. And if we can't answer them now, we'll get back to you And if you have questions later, you've got my email address now. So I don't know, Bryce, do we have anything in the chat right now?
In the chat, we're good, but if anybody has questions they would like to put in the chat right now, we are happy to answer.
Got to be one question.
All the questions come in. Fantastic presentation. It's great to see all the diversity in your portfolio and how much you've engaged small business communities with that. Some of the questions are starting to come in now.
So,
Kyra,
they mentioned the mentor protege program. Do you have more details on that?
We do. We do. We do have a mentor protege program that we do put in place. If you are interested, we can provide additional details. It is a robust kind of partnership that we have with you all. Sometimes even within the projects, we'll also have that mentor protege opportunity as well. Also making sure that we learn from you, you learn from us, and we're ensuring that you also grow your expertise in the business. So we do have a framework for that we can also discuss with you.
So just reach out to Kyra, to me, and we'll be happy to discuss that further.
Tom, specifically for you, in engineering services, could you provide a brief summary of the DBE subcontracting opportunities in the DMV?
Sure. So, WMATA is
You're
one of
welcome.
our biggest clients here in the region. We have a general engineering contract, which is a design contract with Metro, and a program management contract. Both of those contracts are fairly flexible in terms of adding new capabilities based on the tasks that Metro anticipates sending out to us. It is a competitive contract, so every task is competitively bid. But Metro has been really flexible in terms of us bringing on subcontractors that weren't even part of our original proposal in order to meet the specific needs of each task order. So it really depends on what Metro has coming up. Some of the big programs that they have coming up are the transition to zero emission vehicles. So that's not just a vehicle job, that's facilities, that is construction management, program management. Really the facilities side is going to be much more expensive than the vehicles in the end. So that's a big opportunity. Metro plans on moving towards a communication-based train control program in the future to return to automatic operations. That's a very long-term program, but will require a lot of resources. Again, program management, design-oriented, and construction management. In addition, other big programs that Metro has coming up are tunnel ventilation. They're doing a pilot program now. Assuming that's successful, they'll roll that out to the entire Metro Rail subway system. And tunnel leak mitigation has also been a big program for Metro over the years and will continue to be, along with flood mitigation. I think we've all seen the pictures of the rivers of water coming into, I think, either Cleveland Park or Woodley Park. I can't remember which station. But those aren't unique. That does happen throughout the Metro system, especially as rainstorms become more intense over time. With the District Department of Transportation, the DC streetcar does have an extension to Benning Road. It's in the design stage now. There will be opportunities there, both on, I think, on the delivery side primarily, but maybe on the program management side. In Virginia, the big program there is that we're interested in is with the new agency, the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. So this is an agency that has funding. It's a separate authority from the Virginia Department of Transportation. One of their big programs is the S-Line rail line from Raleigh from Raleigh up to Richmond. So it's a combined North Carolina, Virginia program. That'll be a heavy investment. A line out to the west, going to Roanoke, and then upgrades to the Richmond DC line and the Richmond to Norfolk line as well. Maryland. Maryland is reinvigorating the east-west corridor study. So that was previously the red line. We're leading the alternatives analysis now. And of course, they'll be looking at BRT, heavy rail, light rail. All of the gubernatorial candidates on the Democratic side support an investment in Baltimore. So I would keep your eye on that one. I think that's a pretty good list.
Certainly a lot of work to be done here. That's for sure. We've got another question.
Well, Bryce, before you go on to the next question, I just wanted to also state that even though Tom had really outlined a lot of the opportunities, we really should be connecting with you early on to make sure that we can actually do this partnership with you. We should really get to know what your firm's capabilities are, as well as when we go and pursue these opportunities. So, please make sure that you connect with us and allow us to know and be introduced to what your capabilities are so we can really form a solid team. So, although there's opportunities there, we just want to make sure that we can also see a mutual benefit on both ends.
Yeah, well, we're a big company. I mentioned 55,000 people. We simply do not have all the people we need to respond to all of these projects. So we're always looking for partnerships. Kira's absolutely right on that.
Fantastic. We've got a question here asking whom at Jacobs should they talk to with regards to sustainability, including lighting retrofit or energy analysis, solar EV charging stations, etc. Who would be good to talk on this?
So those are different people potentially. If you send me an email, thomas.donahue@jacobs.com, I'll help to put you in touch with the right people. We have a whole carbon reduction initiative set up with a strong emphasis on zero emission vehicles. And then there's also a sustainability and resilience group growing out of our water business. And we're doing work with them now at CSX, and we've done work with Metro, with our water business group as well, on flood mitigation. So I'm happy to make those connections for you.
Great. Well, that'll be in our details. Are there opportunities to work on task orders on our existing contracts with WMATA? Also the MWATA, the airports, with other clients. If so, how do we get on these projects?
So start with that registration link that is in the presentation that you'll get after this meeting. Reach out to Kira and myself and Kristen. These task orders from Metro, Metro's been a terrific client. They have provided us more information than most of our clients do on upcoming work needs. So they'll send out a list of anticipated task orders. They'll send out subsequently letters of intent describing the scope of work before we get the RFP. So it's in that stage that where we get the anticipated upcoming tasks, where we start to consider whether that's something we're going to bid on. And then also at that point, we start to think about subcontractors. Metro generally has a goal of 25 to 30% DBE participation, and we try to exceed that whenever we can. So we are looking for partners. Again, we just don't have all the resources we need to be able to respond to Metro alone.
Most certainly. Anyone have any other questions? We've got some time.
I'd like to encourage folks to also sign up for the procurement newsletters at the WMATA's procurement page. They're very insightful. They come out every quarter, and they'll give you a means to understand what's happening within WMATA and to reach out to the prime contract holders and to get on those opportunities. So look for engagements through that procurement newsletter as well.
And the type of services we're usually looking for, typically it's the foundational services, construction inspection, construction management, project controls, program administration and project administration. But then some of those specific programs I mentioned, we're also looking for engineering support, ZEV vehicles, the tunneling or the tunnel ventilation program, the rail program in Virginia. Again, we just don't have all the resources here in this region to support everything that is going on here. Billions and billions of dollars will be invested in this region, in transit and transportation, but also water and the built environment. It's a great place to be.
Tom, I wanted to mention that being that you mentioned that we had an internal program, we're looking to do that quarterly. So it's our small, diverse, collaborative events. This is an opportunity where you can actually have a little bit more hands-on with some of the project managers as well as the leads in a lot of the market sectors that we service. And so I would also say that, make sure that you follow us on our social media, because we do put advertisement out for those events on social media so that you may be able to register for those events. It is a registration only, and we do cap it. But if you're not able to get in, we can always put you on a waiting list for the next time. But those are the opportunities where if you want to have a more in-depth kind of connection with us, that we're looking to do as well. So please make sure to look out for that as well.
And John, I think we're half an hour early.
We have one more question here. Okay. What type of MBE/DBE certification is required for WMATA projects? Is MDOT certification good enough?
I am pretty sure, John, you might weigh in here too, that there is cross certification between Virginia, VDOT, MDOT, and WMATA and DCDOT. But I'm not 100% sure about that. Do you know, John, or somebody?
You are on point. You're coming across very well, T. So we do accept certifications throughout the DMV. It just makes it easier. We do have to make sure we maintain our separate DBE applications for auditing, as well as our non-federal programs, our MBE programs, right? So what it does, when you are already certified within the DMV, we just accept those documents and have you upload for our regular application, so we can just have those on file.
There's some social media in the chat for Jacobs.
Yeah, Bryce is putting in things that I don't even know about. Instagram, what's that?
I was actually looking for those, Bryce, but you beat me to it.
Thanks, Kira, for putting in the LinkedIn. That's great. Any other questions?
Look, that's why Bryce is a keeper.
Yeah, right. Anybody younger than 30. All right. So I think we're wrapping up a little early. Again, just reach out to us anytime, ask any questions if there's anything specific, or you think of any follow-up. Again, we're looking for these partnerships. They're very important to us.
Thank you, and Kristen Jacobs, for your presentation and your engagement with the small business community. Fantastic, thank you. If there's no further questions, I think we're gonna turn the presentation back over to Anthony Spain. If there's any more general questions that we have that are coming in. And
well, I want to say thank you, John, for doing an amazing job. I look forward to working with you again in October, as we have another Meet the Primes coming up then. I tell you, these partnerships, they turn out to be so good. And I just like to make sure we keep this partnership going. In closing today, I just want to thank everyone for attending. You know, we are really proud about this series. We try to have them 3 times a year for the Meet the Primes, because it is a way to, you know, keep our prime contractors and our small businesses connected, you know, one-on-one for the opportunities and everything here. Again, I want to say thank you to John. I want to thank my staff, the Small Business Programs Office, say thank you to Procurement. Most of all, thank you to our primes. Oh my goodness, thank you. HNTB, RK&K, Aecom, and Jacobs. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate all of you. Of course, you know, your major hitters, like Suzette said, on our projects here, and we want to keep that moving. I hope all of the small businesses were able to learn some important information to help your company strategize today on these contracting opportunities. For WMATA, please remember that certification is the key to participation. We do look forward to receiving your certification applications being submitted with us. As I said, we are open for business. Please check our websites for the different opportunities. We will be sending the packets out of all the presentations today. Remember, it does have contact information in there and everything. So we'll make sure that we get those out to you along with the survey. It is very important to us that you fill the survey out, because it helps us to have events like this. You know, your feedback is extremely important, and we want to make sure that we have things that will educate you, help you for your businesses, and or to connect with opportunities. So at this time, I want to say thank you. Have a great rest of your day. John, thank you again, and I look forward to us meeting up in October.
We'll look to, so I want to thank also ACEC for helping us broadcast presentation through their small business and the transportation committees. So thank you to them as well.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.